This morning, I woke up to the troubling news that a huge name in the online space, CoryxKenshin, has had some allegations levied against his name. Allegations that Twitter especially have been losing their mind over. A woman known online as Panda Ninja XX took to her TikTok account to post several videos accusing Cory of the worst sorts of things. So today, we're going to go through them. We'll hear what she has to say, figure out if her narrative sounds plausible, and question where this leaves us. But before we get into this, let me state that right now, these are purely allegations. We've only heard one side of the story so far. As of the time I'm recording this, Cory has not yet responded. And considering that quite literally last week, a YouTuber called Skeppy was accused of a bunch of things that have since been debunked or have been proved as misleading, these sorts of things have to be taken with a grain of salt. This video is by no means me just grabbing the gavel and declaring him as guilty, nor is it me letting him off the hook and saying that he's completely 100% innocent scot-free. This video is us looking at the claims and seeing what they have to say. I do truly believe that Cory will respond to this, but for now, he hasn't, so we'll have to wait. In the meantime though, please allow me to fill you in on who CoryxKenshin is, because in case you've never heard of him before, he's actually one of the largest content creators on YouTube. Cory has 22 million subscribers on YouTube. For reference, Ninja, who is a household name in the gaming sphere, has 23 million, so he's amongst the upper echelon of YouTube's gaming channels, at least in pure numbers. According to Social Blade, he is the 39th most subscribed gaming channel on the entire platform. I'm sure that countless people watching this have seen his content or have subscribed to him in the past. His most popular content has tens of millions of views. I think I discussed him on the channel once before in my video about YouTube conspiracy theories, where he accused YouTube of having racial biases. That's at least where I know him from. Bottom line, this man is huge. He is undeniably one of the largest creators on the entire platform. But in the past day or so, an alleged ex-partner of his has taken to her TikTok to accuse him of all sorts of absolutely despicable behavior, such as love bombing, emotional abuse, manipulation, illness-related trauma, and potentially even SA. These allegations were made over 100 different slides on 3 separate uploads, and there was also an extra video uploaded, which we'll get to later. However, for now, I'm going to discuss the important details in chronological order as they happened in the uploads. I'll have these statements on screen, so if at any point you want to read them for yourself, feel free to pause the video. So with that said, let's discuss the allegations. To start off her statements, she first says that his man of faith persona is a lie. She claims that it's just branding for him. And while in front of the camera he's known as a devout Christian, he's a very different person behind it. She claimed that she was at one of the lowest points in her life when she met him. He paid attention to her and then ghosted her in order to teach her a lesson. She called this a calculated move, and then goes on for a few slides to essentially claim that he methodically manipulated her and wrote that he only came around when he wanted something, possibly alluding to sex. She goes on to claim that he's narcissistic, flexing his money and making her feel bad for the job that she had. One thing that she claimed quite a few times was that he kept her on the hook, giving her breadcrumbs to suggest that he could be a good person. So in one instance, he apparently apologized to her for not being the best partner and got her a few gifts. They reconciled, but then he might have cheated on her, and he apparently blew up in her face when confronted. He then ghosted her again, and this caused mental anguish on her. Once more, he kept her on the hook. He knew that she was desperate, and he kept her there because that's just the person that he is, at least according to Panda Ninja XX. So with this first part, it's quite tough to say how much of this is actually legitimate. I don't know Cory personally, and I don't know the person who's accused him. The very high likelihood is that every single person watching this video also does not know either of these two people. It's very tough to judge someone's character based on a single allegation, especially considering that A, there is no hard evidence to back this up, and B, the statement is made by an ex-partner of his who might have some sort of intention to lie or stretch the truth. That said, there is some alleged evidence in part 2. In part 2, she shares some Xbox messages where he says that he wants to fuck her life up some more. If these screenshots are legitimate, because they can easily be faked, it shows that he wanted to have a casual relationship with her, which she didn't seem to want. The reason why is that she said that she had been essayed in the past. He said that he didn't know why he was being lumped into a category with the person that assaulted her, and one of the next slides reads, "You put yourself in there." In the next slide, she says that he crossed lines that he had no right to and knew exactly what he was doing. Now, while it's not overtly said here, I think that some people will undeniably interpret this as Cory also being someone that has assaulted her if he's crossed lines that he has no right to. That said, the post then takes a sharp left turn once the accuser reveals that she had been diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time where we get any sort of date for anything, as she reveals that the pandemic is happening when she's diagnosed. She messages him to tell him that she's been diagnosed with breast cancer, and he apparently replies with this: "That was the most passive-aggressive cancer reveal ever." Now, the strange thing is that we don't see how she actually breaks the news to him, so what we have is a reply out of context. Panda Ninja XX said that this was the moment she realized who he truly was. This response doesn't sit well with me either. It's very possible that this lacks any context. For whatever reason, she didn't include the message that she sent over, so we're just seeing the reaction. So maybe this has been manipulated to make him look like the bad guy, because we don't know what she said to him. But that's no way to react to someone telling you that they have cancer, especially over text. But she leaves part 2 on a bit of a cliffhanger by mentioning a woman named N, who she then discusses in part 3. So on to the third part. She wrote that N had added her, having found her through Xbox, and they had some civil conversations. She does note that she had an inkling that something was off. Then, an unknown Instagram account DM'd her and called N out. Apparently, she had a reputation in the community for inserting her in the lives of the women that Cory had dated, meddling and twisting things. She then claimed that a close friend of his called Brandon began watching her Instagram stories like clockwork, which to her was surveillance. She went on to say that she met several other women that had been affected by Cory. I would personally suspect that if these allegations are true, then over the next several days and weeks, we will see more women come out with their experiences. This is usually how these sorts of things play out. If you remember back to last year, there was the entire Shelby Grace thing with Wilbur, and then a bunch of other women came out with allegations against him, and then more people in the Minecraft community came out with their experiences with other content creators. One person usually breaks the mold, and then others will follow. That said, many of the final statements in part 3 are just discussing many of the common questions that she thinks that she's going to be asked. She clarifies that this is not meant to be a hit piece, it's just her truth and his. But then things get much, much worse. If you can remember back to the early stages of this video, I mentioned that she released 3 statements and also a video. Well, in this video, the two of them are walking down the corridor of a hotel having a conversation. And in this conversation, Cory reveals that he might have done something to her while she was asleep.
I'm still on.
I'm still on.
Then I woke up again and it was off.
Did you watch me sleep? Did you watch me sleep?
Yeah, I actually did something to you while you were asleep too.
What?
I'm sorry, I just got this fetish that I do, you know.
What?
I didn't hurt you. You're good, right?
What'd you do, Cory?
Just don't worry about it.
Cory?
Good.
Cory, what did you do?
Do nothing. Look, this came right in my face. I didn't do anything.
He did something, and I'm gonna find out on the next episode of
Dragon Ball Z, where are you going with this?
Now we have to discuss people's reactions to this because very obviously it has caused a rift. If you head to his most recent video, uploaded 3 weeks ago, the top comments are written by people several hours ago discussing the situation, and they have thousands of likes. People on Twitter are confused with what he meant about doing something when she was asleep. Many of them have been saying that they had a gut feeling that he was a bad guy all along. A lot of them have turned on him immediately, and it seems as though the allegations paired with that video are enough to sway them, regardless of Cory responding. However, others are skeptical to say the least. Some people think that Cory in this video is quite clearly joking. First of all, the woman is laughing, she doesn't seem to be too upset about it, and they've also asked the question, if Cory is being legitimate and he has actually done something to her while she was asleep, why would he incriminate himself like that on video? He can see the camera, he at one point says, "Get it out of my face." If he did do something heinous, why would he just admit that on tape? To a lot of people, something doesn't seem right. And as it now turns out, their skepticism may have been well-founded. So I'm recording this just as the video is about to be released, but I found an update that I had to include that might just throw a spanner in the works of this entire situation. So the internet has been in a frenzy for several hours now, but I've stumbled across what appears to be a clarification. In her crypticness, there are multiple instances where it appears as though he did something illegal. The video that she uploaded where he said that he did something to her when she's unconscious, the fact that at the end she says no permission, or saying that he crossed lines after discussing him being put in the same box as her previous abuser. But she posted on her TikTok story saying that she was not essayed by him. This is going to make her case quite tough, because people reacting to it on Twitter have been making the point that essentially it seems as though she had been implying that he had assaulted her. This video in a vacuum definitely raises suspicions. What he says would be illegal. So why didn't she clarify in the description of this video that she was not assaulted? This could just be her covering herself legally, or it could be that she saw the rumor spreading and she wanted to shut it down as soon as possible, but to many onlookers, it seems like she might have intentionally misled people, especially by posting that video without the context added. But now the ball is in Cory's court. I'll be keeping an eye on this story, and I'll give you guys all of the necessary updates in due time. This very well could be the end of CoryxKenshin. We'll just have to see what happens next. But to prove his innocence or confirm his guilt, Cory has to respond.